So we're gonna get started today in Child's Pose, but if you're doing your playlist, I'm gonna count it down. When I say play, press play. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. And then start to find your way towards a child's pose that sounds or feels nice. And if you've never come to child's pose before, you're gonna sit on your knees. Then you're gonna walk your hands forward and send your hips back. You can have your knees wide, or you can bring them closer together. If you have your knees wide, you're gonna get a bigger stretch through your hips. And if you have your knees together, you're gonna get a bigger stretch through your lower back. You might find a little movement, a little wiggle side to side, a little stretch wide or long with the fingers. And just start to drop into your body and into your practice. This time is really your opportunity to get to know yourself just a little bit better. And I think this time in quarantine maybe has been a good opportunity for that in general. Time just sort of to reflect, to acknowledge what's really important to us, what we really need. And your practice allows you to acknowledge and learn those things in a really focused setting. It's always about what you need, what moves you, what your intentions are, and not about how it looks or what I tell you to do. It's just about listening. So all together, take a full breath in and a full breath out. We're gonna do 2 more like that, each one a little bigger than the last. Inhale, fill up, feel your belly start to rise. When you feel full, take 1 more sip of air. Then exhale, empty it all out. 1 more time like that, a little bit fuller. Inhale. Fill up a tiny bit more. Fill up a tiny bit more. Then exhale, let it all out. And start to allow your breath to find a natural rhythm, a natural pace. And that'll be what moves you today, that pace, that rhythm. Stretch your fingers as far forward as you can. You might lift your elbows, but keep your forehead down. Tent up onto your fingers. Pull your shoulders back away from your ears. Pull your tailbone a little closer to your heels. Breathe in here. Feel space through every vertebra of your spine. Then breathe out. Drop your hands. Start to walk them back towards your knees. Just nice and slow. Once you arrive, if it doesn't feel good to sit on your knees, you can come and sit cross-legged, either way. We'll take some twists here to warm up. So inhale, reach your arms overhead. Then exhale, start to twist over towards the right. You can drop your right hand behind you, or it can stay lifted, reaching towards the back. Use your left hand to really press onto your right knee and twist you a little bit deeper. Inhale, sit up a little taller. Exhale, twist a little deeper. Start to release back to center, reach your arms overhead. Then exhale, twist towards the left. Inhale, sit up a little taller. Exhale, twist a little deeper. Start to come back to center, reach your arms overhead, and you'll drop your hands down by your sides, just kind of clear out the space around you. Start to roll out your head, neck. Just start to soften through your jaw, through your eyebrows. And eventually, once your neck starts to feel nice and warm, bring your chin to neutral. Pick up your shoulders by your ears, roll them around a couple times, forward and back. And start to loosen up anything that you've been holding on to. We spend a lot of time punching forward on our screens. So see if you can take it back and open up a little bit more through your heart. From here, we're gonna make our way towards a tabletop position. So if you're cross-legged, you can roll over your knees, or if you're kneeling, you can just walk your hands forward. You wanna make sure that your hands are right underneath your shoulders and your knees are right underneath your hips. Then inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze, find a cow pose. Exhale, start to round nice and slow, one vertebra at a time, chin towards your chest. You might even come up onto your fingertips. Really exaggerate this pose. Drop your palms, pull your heart through your arms, lift your gaze, cow pose. And chin to chest, round through your spine. You can keep taking these nice and slow, or if you're ready to speed up a little bit, you can go for that. We'll take a couple rounds on our own. Remember, your breath is your guide. That's the pace that you're moving at. You're inhaling to cow, and you're exhaling to cat. And the great thing about this practice being virtual right now is that you can't see what anyone else is doing except for me. So it doesn't matter at all what it looks like. If you want to add in any other movements, you can start to add them in. Maybe shifting forward and back. Maybe stretching out your wrists. Maybe you want to pat out your feet. You can go for that. Maybe you want hip circles. Sure. Really anything goes. Just be fluid. Feel free to take anything you need. And eventually, we're gonna make our way from here to your very first downward facing dog. So you curl your toes under, lift your hips up and back, find that inverted V shape with your body. And then play around for a couple moments. Pedal out your feet, shift your weight around, and just see how it feels. Where it feels tight, where it feels open. You should be getting a nice stretch through the backs of your legs. If you're not, drop your heels a little bit closer to the mat. Press hard into the space where your thumb and your index finger meet, and that will take the pressure off your wrists. Bring your heels to touch, turn your toes outwards, and just get a little bit of a different stretch than you normally get in your downward facing dog. And notice, maybe you like this version better. Maybe you don't like it at all, and that's okay. Start to bring your feet back to center. Turn your heels out and your toes in, and notice this. Notice this stretch. The difference. Maybe you like this one better, maybe you hate this one. Come back to center. Toes point straight forward. And rise up onto your toes, bend your knees, look forward. We're gonna start to take little steps, as many as it takes, all the way to the top of the mat, into a forward fold. When you get there, grab opposite elbows. You can keep your knees nice and bent. And just sway a little side to side, bob up and down. Shift your weight a little bit into the balls of your feet so that your hips can start to stack over top of your ankles. And if your weight's in your heels, your hips are gonna be going way back, almost like a chair pose. So shift forward towards your toes, almost like you're gonna fall forward. You're not going to. If you have a grip, gently release it. Start to rise all the way up to stand. When you get there, inhale, reach your arms overhead. Bend your knees, pull forward, fold right back down. Once your belly meets your thighs, straighten your legs. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands. Step your right foot back. Drop your knee. Lift up onto your fingertips, or your hands can come to your thigh. And just press your chest forward. Open up through your heart, through your right hip flexor. Hands come down to the mat. And press into them. Curl your back toes under if you untouch them. Lift your knee. Then step back. You're in your first plank pose. This time, we're all gonna drop our knees unless you really don't want to. And nice and slow, lower all the way down onto your belly. When you get there, inhale to lift your chest a tiny amount. You should still be able to wiggle your fingers. Gently start to lower down. Press your hips back through child's pose. And then curl your toes under, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Rise onto your toes, bend your knees, look forward. Then you step forward, feet to your hands. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Rise all the way up, reach high. Inhale here, then exhale, ride your breath, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold, plant your hands, step your left foot back this time. Drop your knee, lift your arms, press your chest forward, open up through the heart. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Lift your left knee, step your right foot back, plank pose. You can drop your knees again, or if you want to just lower all the way down, go for that. Untuck your toes, inhale, pull your chest forward. You can find this baby cobra again, or you can put a little more weight in your hands and lift up a little higher. Gently start to lower down. Curl your toes under. This time we go straight to downward facing dog. Press up, send your hips high. Rise onto the toes, bend the knees. Exhale, then step, or if you're ready to hop, go for it, feet to hands. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Rise all the way up, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reset your spine, lift halfway, get long, use your core. Exhale, forward fold. Step your right foot back, but leave your knee lifted. Then step your left foot back and see if you can step it back and lower down at the same time. You can lower all the way, or you can lower halfway. Then inhale, open through your heart. It could be cobra with the fronts of your legs down. It could be upward facing dog with the fronts of your legs lifted. Then we'll flip your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. We're gonna do one more round like that. Rise onto your toes, bend your knees, look forward, step or hop, feet to hands. Inhale, reset. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, reach high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reset. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, press into them, and start to step your left foot back first. Then we're gonna step your right foot back and see if you can lower down at the same time. Inhale to any heart opener. Exhale to downward facing dog. When you get here this time, drop your knees down to the mat, right back in your tabletop. You might take a couple more rounds of your cat and cow. Notice how it feels different now that you've created a little warmth in your spine and in your body. From here, we're going to start to fire up the core just a little bit. So let's stay on our right hand, but drop your left forearm down. You want your right hand to be aligned with your left elbow. So right in the same line. Then we're going to start to lift your right leg up and back. And you can curl your left toes under, which I think will give a little more stability. As you exhale, you're going to pull your right elbow towards your right, or your right knee towards your right elbow. You're going to get a crunch in your oblique. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do two more. Send it high. Exhale, use your breath, crunch. Last one, inhale. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, send it long. Start to drop your right knee back in line. And then we'll just slide your left hand back so that you're in your tabletop position. One round cat and cow, drop your belly. Round your spine. And then we'll come back and we'll do the other side. So this time, your right elbow is gonna drop. It's gonna be in line with your left fingertips. Then your left leg goes long. Turn your left toes out towards the left so you're opening through your hip. Then use your exhale, pull your knee towards your elbow, crunch. Inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Extend, we're doing 2 more. Exhale, crunch it in. Inhale, lengthen, last one. Exhale, crunch, hold. Send it long. Start to drop your left knee back in line with your right. Slide your right hand back until you're in your tabletop position. Inhale, drop your belly. Exhale, round your spine. Come back to your neutral table. We're just gonna find a tiny bit more core work before we move a little bit more through a flow. So, curl your toes under. As you exhale, you're gonna lift your knees up off the mat and puff up through your shoulder blades. Protract like you're going to cat pose. So it'll be exhale, lift your knees, then set them back down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Lift, use your breath. Pull your belly up and in. Lower. If you want to make this harder, you can press into the tops of your feet and see if you can lift from there. Straighten your legs. Or you can do none of these things. You can take some rounds of cat and cow. If you're taking these lifts, take one more. Then drop your knees. We're going to stretch out the shoulders. So inhale, lift your right arm, open your right palm. Exhale, thread it through your right shoulder and your right cheek are going to come all the way down. Your left arm can walk out in front or it can tuck into your right hip crease. If you want to add balance, you can start to lift your left leg. See where you go. Come out, start to slide your left hand underneath your left shoulder. Inhale, open up. Exhale, set it down. Then we'll move right to the left side. Left arm opens up. Exhale, thread it through left shoulder, left cheek, all the way down. Right arm can walk out in front or it can tuck into your hip crease. If you want to play with balance this time, it'll be your right leg that lifts. If you fall over backwards, it's because you need to engage your core a little bit more. Pull your ribs together, suck your belly up and in. And gently start to make your way out. Slide your right hand in, under your shoulder, press into it, lift your left arm. Set both hands down, tabletop position. If you want a couple cat-cow rounds, take it. Otherwise, we're finding downward dog. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your nose. Rise onto your toes. Bend your knees. Look forward. Exhale. Use your breath. Step or hop. Feet to your hands. Inhale. Lift up halfway. Get long in your spine. Exhale. Forward fold. Inhale. Rise all the way up to stand. Reach high. This time, bring your hands to clasp together at your low back. As you inhale, pull down with your fist. Lift through your chest. Keep your grip, bend your knees, start to hinge into your forward fold. You'll find a shoulder stretch. Gently start to release your grip. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands, step your right foot back. Then we're gonna step your left foot back. See if you can lower down at the same time. Inhale, open through your heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. As you inhale, lift your right leg. Bend your knee, open up your hip. Keep pressing into your right hand. It's gonna wanna get lighter, but press down hard. Inhale, open your hip a little bit more, press your foot behind you. Then as you exhale, right knee towards your right elbow, just like you did in tabletop. Inhale, lengthen straight up and back. Exhale, step your foot in between your hands. Stay on the ball of your back foot, but bend your left knee. Lift your arms, crescent lunge. Your hands can also be at your heart or they can be on your hips. And take a moment here to breathe. Notice how it feels. Be willing to listen. If your hands are not at your heart, start to bring them there. Inhale. Then exhale, start to twist towards the right. You can stay lifted right here, or you can start to drop your right elbow over your left elbow, over your right thigh, and twist a little bit deeper. So you're either here, lifted in your torso, or here. Take one more breath in. As you unwind your twist, drop your back heel, open your arms wide. You'll be in Warrior Two. So you want your stance in Warrior Two to be nice and wide. Weight equally in both of your feet. Shoulders are relaxed back and down. Flip your front palm, reach forward, up and back, and reverse your warrior. Exhale to side angle. Right elbow towards your right thigh. Left arm high. One more time like that. Reach up and back. Reverse. Exhale to side angle. From side angle, we're gonna start to straighten your right leg, moving towards triangle pose. In this pose, I like to shorten my stance. So you can heel toe your back foot in and make this a little bit shorter. Both legs are straight. The tendency is to dump forward, kind of like this, but you wanna be lifted up and back like your shoulders are pressing against a wall. Take one more breath here. Breathe out. And as you inhale, rise up. We're going to reverse with straight legs. Inhale here. And as you exhale, we're going to take it into balancing half moon. So your right hand is going to come down in front of your right foot. Your back leg is going to lift and it might hop in a couple times. It doesn't matter how high your leg lifts. Maybe you can get lighter in your bottom hand and really balance on just your foot. And start to square yourself towards the mat. You'll be in a supported Warrior Three, hands down. Left foot is still lifted. And then we meet in a forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand, reach high. Again, clasp your hands at your low back. Put the opposite thumb on top, the one that feels like it doesn't belong there. And pull down, lift through your heart. Bend your knees. Slowly start to forward fold. Take your hands towards the sky. Shake your head side to side. Notice anywhere you're feeling tension. You start to release your hands back down to the mat. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Step your left foot back first. Then press into your hands. Just see, can you lift your right foot, send it back, and lower into chaturanga at the same time. Inhale, open up. Exhale, down, up. Inhale, lift your left leg. Bend your knee, open up your hip, press your left hand down just as hard as your right hand. Inhale, send your foot a little further back. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Use your core. Inhale, lengthen straight up and back. Exhale, step your foot through. Stay on the ball of your back foot. Bend your right knee, then lift your arms up. Crescent lunge. And check in. Notice where you're feeling opening, where you're feeling tension. Get to know yourself a little better. Start to bring your hands to your heart. If they're anywhere else, inhale. Then exhale, start to twist. You can stay lifted in your torso, or you can start to hinge forward. Right elbow hooks to the outside of your left knee. And now that back leg is lifting up, long and strong. Take one more breath in. Breathe out. Start to unwind your twist straight to warrior two. Back heel comes all the way down. Your toes point towards the long edge of your mat. Arms reach equally forward and back. Flip your front palm. Reach forward, up and back. Reverse your warrior. Maybe that back hand is taking a little half bind. Exhale, side angle. Right, left elbow, left thigh. Right arm reaches up. Inhale, reach up and back, reverse. Exhale, side angle. From here, we start to straighten our front leg towards triangle pose. So if you're really flexy, you might be way down here. Maybe your hand is even on the ground. Mine's not, because if I do that, I start to tip forward, which is not what you want. So I lift up a little bit higher so that I feel work in both of my obliques. Take one more breath in. Breathe out. Press down with your feet. Take it into a reverse, reach up and back. From here, we're gonna find balancing half moon. Maybe you can do it in one movement. Maybe you need a bunch of little movements today, and that's great. So inhale here. Exhale, start to tip forward, lift your back leg, balancing half moon. That top hand can be on your hip, or it can be lifted. Maybe your bottom hand is lifted. Maybe you wobble and you fall. If you do, it's part of the practice, getting back up without judgment. Start to square back off. In a supported warrior three. And then we find a forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. And from here, we're gonna start to heel toe our feet out. Sink your glutes down into Malasana. Just starting to really wake up through your hips here. You could, if you have something to sit on, you could sit on something here. Just an option. You might just rock a little bit side to side. Now we're gonna bring our hands down. Make sure your hands are about shoulder width apart. We're not going all the way to crow right now, but I just want you to kind of feel how it will feel. So hands are down, fingertips point a little bit outwards, little external rotation in your shoulders. And then just start to rock forward onto your toes and then rock right back. So you rock forward on your exhale, then you rock right back. So my elbows are right inside my knees. And just see what it would feel like to lift your feet here. And rounding a little bit through your shoulders. And eventually we'll end in Malasana. We're gonna step your right foot, lift your hips a little bit so that you can step your right foot back. You'll be in lizard lunge. And we'll go ahead and drop your right knee down, untuck your toes. And I'll give you a couple options. So you can stay right exactly where you are. You can come down to your forearms if that's accessible for you. You can use your left hand to press your left knee away from your body and really open up through the inside of your hip. Or if you want a quad stretch, you can start to bring your left hand towards your right foot and see what happens. You might have your foot, you might not. Sometimes it's not there. And gently start to release. We'll go back to your lizard lunge. Curl your back toes under, lift your knee, and then start to walk your hands over towards the center of your mat so you're in this side lunge on the long edge of your mat. Shift your weight towards the back, and shift your weight towards the front. A couple more times like that, just shifting forward and back. Then we're gonna end facing towards the back of your mat in your side lunge. And you can come all the way down if you want to into Skandasana. Lift your front toes. And then we're gonna start to walk your hands all the way around towards the back. We're gonna find that lizard lunge on this side. So both hands are to the inside of your right foot. You go ahead and drop your knee, untuck your toes, and your option here. So you can come down to the forearms. You can start to find that quad stretch. You can find anything that feels right to you, that feels like a good stretch. It's about finding your edge. And it should feel a little bit uncomfortable because it's a big stretch, but it should not feel painful. And gently start to release. Curl your back toes under, lift your knee. And just like we did before, we're gonna walk our hands around towards the center and take a couple side lunges to sort of flush it out. Maybe if you wanna really work on strength here, you lift your hands and you move side to side without the help of your hands. If you're just stretching it out, use your hands, it's nice and gentle. And eventually we're gonna end face towards the front, walk your hands back around. You'll be in a runner's lunge. Start to heel toe that left foot to the outside of your left hand. And big step forward with your right foot, right back to your Malasana. All right, so now you can stay right here. If you're over this and you want to stretch it out, you can drop your glutes, find like a butterfly stretch. Or if you want to play with crow, you can start to play with it here. So what you're gonna do is plant your hands, find that slight external rotation. Then you're gonna start to shift forward, just like we did before. You're gonna come onto the balls of your feet. I like to heel toe my feet actually in a little closer, but you might like yours wide. And then, just like we did, you're gonna start to shift forward. See if you can lift one toe. See if you can lift the other toe. And then maybe, see if you can lift both toes. Look out in front of you. Round through your spine. If you come out and you want to try again, go for it. Maybe you play a couple times. And when you're done playing, we'll come back to that Malasana pose. Go ahead and drop your glutes all the way down. Bring the soles of your feet to touch if you have not already. Give yourself a little foot massage. And take your feet out a little further so you're making like a diamond shape with your legs. Press your feet together as hard as you can. And then start to bring your hands to your feet, your elbows to your shins. Press up with your legs and down with your arms. And you should feel this stretch without really having to fold forward, hardly at all. And gently start to release. Undo your legs. Then we're gonna start to rock and roll the whole length of your spine. Just massage it out. If that doesn't feel good, we're gonna make our way all the way down onto our backs. So when you are done rocking and rolling, find your way onto your back. Take it into a happy baby. You can grab for the outsides of your feet, maybe the outsides of your calves. And try to find a sense of playfulness here, of openness, of freedom. Any movement you want, you can take. And from here, gently start to release your feet. Bring them down to the mat. And we're going to find a figure 4. Pick up your right ankle, cross it over your left thigh. And then you can sit up a little bit so that you can grab behind your left thigh and lay right back down. Flex both of your feet. You might sort of roll out your ankle. If you want to add a hamstring stretch, you start to flex your left toes straight up. And pull your left leg back towards your face. You'll be getting a stretch in both your hamstring and your right hip. If you straighten your leg, start to bend it again. Bring your left hand to your right ankle, and then we're just going to sort of guide it over into a twist towards the left. Keep your right hand on your left ankle. Tee out your right arm, or it can cactus. So that right knee is a little bit lifted, and if you kind of push your ankle into your hand, you'll get a little bit of resistance there and a little bit bigger of a stretch, or you can make it more passive. Gently start to make your way back to center. Then we'll switch out your legs, find your figure 4 on the other side. Again, any version you want. So you can stay right here. You can even have your right foot down on the ground. Or you can extend your leg up towards the sky, get the hamstring stretch and the hip stretch. And sometimes I like to add a little rock side to side. You could play with that. And gently, we're gonna make our way into our twist. So bend your right knee if you straighten it. Bring your right hand to your left foot and sort of guide it over into your twist until your left foot lands all the way down on your mat. And then you start to tee out your left arm or cactus it. This will allow your chest to open up, your body to melt down, to feel entirely supported. And gently start to make your way back out, back to center. I'm gonna bring the soles of both feet down to the mat. I'm gonna do a little heart opening series. We're gonna do a couple rounds of bridge, and then you can either do another round of bridge, or if you wanna do wheel, you can do wheel, but I'll talk us through it. So, soles of your feet are down on the ground. And then actually bring your elbows down and really press hard into your elbows. Spread your fingers wide. As you inhale, you're just gonna start to float your hips up off the mat. And then if you want to, you can leave your elbows here and really press hard in the back of your arms, or you can start to bring your palms face down. Press both your hips towards the sky. Imagine you're squeezing something in between your inner thighs. Your chin is off your chest, but your chest is lifting towards your chin. Take one more breath in. And slowly start to release. We're gonna do 2 more rounds. The next round, I'm gonna offer a little more add-ons and same thing after that. So again, bring your elbows down, press into your triceps, spread your fingers. As you inhale, you press down so hard that your hips just start to float up. And this time, maybe when you bring your hands down, you clasp them under your hips, roll up onto the very tops of your shoulder blades, and press your heart even higher towards the sky. This really counters all of the hunched over computer work that we do right now. It opens up our heart, which I think a lot of times we spend too much time closing off our heart, building up walls around it. Nice and slow, you can start to lower. This time, knock your knees together, take your feet out wide. We're gonna find one more round, but first we're gonna find this little constructive rest. Your low back should be completely resting on the mat. So you can take another round of bridge just like we did, these past 2. Or if wheel's in your practice, a full back bend, you're welcome to it. If you go to wheel, your feet stay hips distance apart. Your hands come by your ears. Fingers point towards your heels. Exhale any air you have. Then as you inhale, you press down to lift up. This is just an option. Bridge is just as good. When you're ready to come out of wheel, you do it really slowly. 1 vertebra at a time. And when you make your way down, you knock your knees together. You take your feet towards the edges of your mat. Close your eyes. Breathe into your heart. Right on the left side of your chest. And acknowledge what you find. Allow yourself to get to know yourself a little better. So to bring your feet back towards hips distance. And this time, we'll bring the soles of our feet together and let our knees go out wide. Bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. And just notice how that opening feels. You might use this moment to truly thank yourself for showing up on your mat, for doing the work to get to know yourself a little better, for being willing to try new things, for being willing to get up when you fall. Maybe for something else entirely. If you want anything else before our final rest, you take it now. When you are ready for Shavasana, the most important part of your practice, you start to make your way towards any position that feels comfy. Maybe flat on your back, maybe you stay where you are, maybe you roll onto your belly. Then you allow yourself just to act like a sponge, to absorb everything you just did, emotionally, physically, mentally. You let it become a part of who you are. Take one more full breath in. And loosen your grip. Exhale. And you rest. in these last few moments of rest, check in with yourself one more time. Eventually, you'll bend your knees, roll over onto one side. Gently and kindly start to press your way into a seat. And together, we'll take one more breath. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, bring your hands towards your heart. My practice, my light, truly honors and loves yours. I'm thankful for you guys so much. I miss you so much. Namaste. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.